to another episode of SFA Live right here from the Summer Fancy Food Show. We're at Jacob Javits Center, and of course, who else but Robert Irvine? Nice to see you. Welcome back.
Yes, you know what? It's got better. It's bigger. There's more exciting things happening here.
Yep.
Phil does a good job with his team. I give him kudos.
All right, so you were the host of the Front Burner program this morning. Tell me a little bit about what you saw over there.
You know, Front Burner is about innovation for food service.
Right.
So out of 70 applicants, they nail it down to 15, and they pick 3 with the best product that they feel could work in the food service industry.
Right.
Or retail, or both.
Sure.
And this morning I saw 3 amazing products that I truly believe will change the way we start to feed.
Interesting. What were they?
So we had a hot honey,
okay,
which was already doing $2 million a year in revenue.
Interesting.
50-50 split between food service and retail. But the interesting thing about that was, well, I'm a chef, so why can't I make my own honey?
Right.
Well, you can, but you're not going to get consistency.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really interesting. Then there was a protein substitute. You know, it's not chicken. It's made up. Flavor was a little off and texture, but I'm going to tell you, I believe this young lady.
It's going to work with it's
going to work a little bit more, and she's going to nail. It's going to be everywhere in the next year.
Yeah.
So I think with the millennial dining and health and all that sort of stuff, and then the third one was olive oil pearls.
I saw that, yeah.
You know, almost like fish eggs, but it was great. I just wonder, is it too expensive?
Yeah.
Or is it not? 3 great innovative ideas, and that's what this show is about.
Yes.
Innovation for the future.
Robert, when you look, I mean, you're traveling all over the world. You're seeing products like this being introduced in food service and also in the retail sector. Is there anything that you feel like today we just need? You know, there's over 2,500 exhibitors here.
Yeah.
What could be missing out there?
I think right now, and we get asked, we're in food service and we're in retail with my own companies, so we're always looking for what people are asking, which is vegetarian, vegan, and meat substitutes, because we haven't found those amazing products. You know, all of a sudden you find like a Hellmann's mayonnaise and everybody loves it, right? We haven't found that product in that category yet.
Yeah.
They're working on it and they're fine-tuning it. You know, burgers, the Impossible Burger, and all these kind of things that we kind of look for. That's what the millennials, Gen X, Gen Zs, and whatever else that's what they're asking for.
Sure.
They want to get away from the protein, eat more salads. And I think we're coming up with them. We just haven't nailed them yet.
Yeah. All right. So Robert Irvine Foods. What is it for our listeners and viewers, people that may not know it?
Well, about 5 years ago, I started 2 companies. One was the protein bars, which is now a raving success. 84,000 retail locations, food service, etc. And at the same time, we launched Robert Irvine Foods, which was a food company for food service and retail.
All right.
Feeding the military, schools, colleges. And we're in our 5th year. Now we have almost 600 employees.
Interesting.
It's doing really well. And we create product. So if somebody says to me, we need a chicken that's stuffed with asparagus and whatever, and we'll make sure that sodium content is less than 300 milligrams.
Okay, all right.
Or a cheesecake.
So you're dialing it in.
We're really focused on a better for you product. So a cheesecake, we have 4 cheesecakes, but they're 50% less fat and 50% less sugar.
Yeah.
But they have the mouthfeel and the taste of a real cheesecake.
Okay.
So I think it's still indulgent, but it's better for you. So we've kind of taken that process with all of our food. We have ribs, we have a smokehouse line. We do chicken wings, 4 stars. Again, smoked product, healthier for you, not fried.
Yeah.
So that's what we started.
Kind of like your own incubator. In essence.
Yeah.
I mean, for products at least.
And it's interesting because, we look at military feeding, as I said, hospitals, all those things that require health-driven products.
Right.
And if you think about K through 12, and the military have the same nutritional levels.
Yep.
What we have in schools, the military has, and vice versa. So if it can go into the military, it can actually go into cool service.
Interesting.
So that's how
I love that.
we focus.
All right, so when you look at specialty food, this is one of the things, obviously, here on Foodable Network that we're seeing is this convergence between chefs like yourself, specialty food makers that are kind of crossing over and blending into each other's business now.
Absolutely.
Each of them using chef-inspired approaches, chefs using specialty food in ways to maybe prepare new menu items or stuff that are designed for takeout
But
and delivery. What are you
but I
seeing
think
there?
but I think you used to say, okay, specialty foods were a market on its own.
Right.
Not anymore, and this show proves that.
Yes.
It's mainstream.
Yep.
Specialty foods are now going into the mainstream world of retail and kitchens or hotels. If you come up with a great product, and I said 3 this morning, I'm going to use that product in my environment because it saves me time and it
Right.
saves me labor.
Right.
So I think everybody that's here doing these booths, it is not, people say, well, it's expensive to get a booth.
Yeah.
I do trade shows.
Yeah.
It's not expensive. When the return on investment is one person walking up and saying, you know what, I really love that
Yeah,
product
I'm
and
gonna
I
drop
can
it
use
in.
that.
Yeah.
So, I say to all you out there, believe me, these trade shows are worth the money you wait.
Sure.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Because that's the only way we cross over.
Yes.
Where we find innovation. I'm looking at a coffee company over here. I'm looking at, crockery and plateware here. So I think it's an ever-evolving world, and that food world is now expanding into everything.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about that in terms of the channels. So you've got, well, let's look at the food service channels, what we've seen kind of explode over the last 2 decades, which is fast casual has kind of just completely propelled itself,
Yep.
which is kind of an interesting sector that has the ability to maybe utilize more specialty products. Are you seeing in terms of channels that you feel might have futuristic opportunities here?
Well, I do. We talk about fast casuals. Yes, they're all changing. Shake Shack was a prime example
Right.
of that, right? We've got rid of fine dining. There's still a few out there, but fine dining doesn't happen that much.
Yep.
Now we're looking at hotels that are smart hotels with technology.
There you go.
That have literally, and Danielle was another spearheading of that, of taking a product, putting it into a machine, you pressing a button, almost like a live restaurant, and nobody's cooking it. It's machines.
Sure.
So I think the products are getting geared towards those changes. And again, we're a fast acting group of people, general, that want food fast.
Yep.
They want it healthy. They want to know where their food comes from, and that's what special is. Olive oil from France or Germany or Italy or Spain or Greece.
Yeah.
You pick which one you want.
Sure.
And then what are we doing with that? We're making dressing. You go down a grocery store or into a refrigerator in a hotel now.
Yeah.
Look at the different oils that we're using. Look at the different dressings we're using, and look at the products we have that we never had 5 years ago.
Right. Well, you're right. I mean, when you get into like even Courtyard Marriott, we've started to see them infuse a lot more culinary, a lot of grab and go products going in there. It's almost like a mini bistro there.
Yep.
That's got some chef-inspired menu items.
And same with big companies. So you look at the Comcast, the NBCs of the world.
Right.
So now
Corporate dining.
their corporate dining has changed.
Yep.
I just got into the coffee business to help veterans. That's the only reason I got into it. But what I found was Choice Hotels is a prime example, right? They came to me and said, we want a coffee program with your coffee that's niche for this particular brand.
Right. Yeah.
Which is funny.
That's
we would
interesting.
never have heard that before.
Yeah.
So, I think there's lots of opportunity.
We got a chance to get the food service director with Google on our network a little bit ago, and I was amazed at how many things they were doing.
It's crazy. Them,
really
Twitter.
advance.
You
Oh,
go
it's
into
amazing.
these places, the food is astronomically amazing.
Yep.
The choices are amazing. And then you look at the clientele.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
I want a snack at this time. And I think that's where we've got to get to. There'll be, at some point, not yet, but we're going to have machines that have this amazing product that you can eat, just press and take and move on.
Chowbotic's one of them out
Yeah.
there that we've seen with salads. So let's go into the consumer aspect and this I won't say overabundance of choice, but there is a massive amount of choice out there right now in terms of specialty products, food service options. Where do you think that's going in the future?
There are main companies, supermarkets, there are main manufacturers, but I think that we're starting to get away from big corporate names.
Okay.
And even the big corporate names are within their industry, in their companies, starting little brands of something.
Creating a fracture.
A fracture,
of,
yeah, exactly. And I think that's the way, we're going to move forward with product. It's going to be, well, yes, we have Heinz, and I'll just use that as a name, but Heinz, and now it does, 15 different ketchups.
Sure.
Because now they're consumer driven to have a jalapeno ketchup.
Yep.
This, but a small company instead of a big manufacturer.
Well, you look at, okay, so we've covered Pepsi before. They're
Mhm.
doing Stubborn Soda, which is a craft soda spinoff.
Yep.
That you would not ever know that it's a Pepsi
And
brand.
Coca-Cola's
the same
Cola
way.
has done the same thing.
Yeah.
They've done ready-to-drink protein drinks.
Yep.
I was there last week looking at these things.
Tyson
because I'm in
Foods and incubators.
Exactly.
Chobani.
Yeah.
This is so you feel like that decentralization is a definite leverage into
we
the
have
market.
got so fed up with knowing that big companies control a lot of things, right?
Right.
So the big companies are saying, well, hey, listen, we're maybe losing market share in this. Why don't we just spin it off and say, okay, let's do the ready-to-drink protein drink under a
Sure.
different name. It's ours, but we can do smaller companies.
Right.
And I find that happening more and more.
Multi-brands.
We're using multiple brands under that umbrella, and they're better quality. Because now we're not just,
I
putting
like
it
it.
through a machine.
All right, last question. Gen Z, millennials, obviously, millennials now in their prime spending and earning years. Gen Z, the audience that's starting to emerge into a very knowledgeable food consumer. What do you see those two sectors and how they'll impact us in the
It's
future?
interesting because them two fractions of our society are controlling how we eat right now.
Yeah.
In restaurants, the food that we create, and
Yeah.
it's so interesting because I had this conversation the other day with a very, very famous person in the food industry that has a big company, and saying, well, you know what, a millennial and a Gen Z and a Gen X
Yeah.
will all pay more money to go to a restaurant that is busy and can be seen,
Sure.
even if they have to use a credit card to go into debt to do it.
Interesting.
And it's true. We want to be seen in those places, and social media is played such a big part in product sales,
Right.
restaurants, hotels.
Yep.
Where do we go? Where do we eat? What do we eat? And oh, by the way, I'm here and you're not.
Yeah.
So I think that social media is also driving. I use the olive oil pearls, right? If I take a picture of a plate with these beautiful olive oil pearls on a dish, and people think it looks great, then automatically I want that.
Right.
So it's kind of, I think that social media, I think the likes and dislikes, the healthier patterns that we're
Right.
seeing now with food and exercise with these kids.
Absolutely.
I think that's setting the trend. We want to know where our food comes from.
Right.
That's really important. We don't want additives. So I think it's a good thing for the industry.
A lot more transparency, definitely on track there. So you see this as being a boon for the food service business over the next
Absolutely.
few decades?
I do, yeah.
Great.
And shows like this obviously are giving that highlight to people. I mean, to read, to see, to watch,
Right.
and come to these events to taste these things.
Yeah.
And then they go away and like, oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
where can I get that?
And technology is only going to continue to improve and help us kind of go that direction. It's great to have you on,
Hey,
man.
it's great to see you again. Thank
Yeah,
you very much. Keep doing
absolutely.
great work.
Thank you.
And
And next time, for sure, we're going to spend more time together. All right. Thanks again for stopping in on another episode of Here at SFA Live at the Summer Fancy Food Show. I'm Paul Barron from Foodable Network. We'll catch you next time.